Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Tabatha Jones. I hope I pronounced your name right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well today. Thank you, Caroline.
Wow, amazing episode today. And I would love to introduce you to the audience. Of course, you are the CEO of Empowered Leadership Coaching, a career advancement and leadership coach, keynote speaker, and author. With over 20 years of experience leading technical teams, you now help women break career barriers and achieve faster promotions. You have coached leaders from top companies like Comcast, Cisco, and PG&E. Your new book, Promotion Ready in 3 Months, The Women's Guide to Career Advancement, is available on Amazon. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Tabatha Jones.
Oh, so excited to be here. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
me too. And my first question to you, what inspired you to focus on helping women overcome career barriers and accelerate their path to leadership roles?
Well, I myself spent more than 20 years in the corporate world. 20 years of that, I was actually climbing the leadership ladder myself, experiencing some of those barriers. Early on in my career, I stayed in a role for just about 10 years, expecting someone else was going to recognize my value and they were going to magically promote me, and learned the hard way that's not how it works. So from there, I changed the way I was doing things. I shifted my strategies and was able to secure 4 promotions over the next 10 years. And I've packaged those strategies into a coaching program, which is pretty amazing. And it's really wonderful to see women's confidence grow as they start implementing these changes in their careers.
Wow, I love that you help women, especially, and then your own story. Of course, this is what this podcast is about: stories of change and success. And my
Yeah.
next question is: can you share a key strategy from your book, Promotion Ready in 3 Months, that has helped your clients achieve faster promotions?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. There are multiple strategies in the book, but I will say my favorite one is the understanding and articulating your value. We as women wait for other people to tell us what our value is, why we're important, why we're good at something. We need to flip the script on that. And once you understand your own value and you understand what sets you apart, you're truly an unstoppable force. But then taking that knowledge and going out and spreading the word, basically, because a lot of us will work ourselves to death sitting behind the computer, just getting more and more irritated. Why isn't someone noticing? Why aren't they paying attention? Only to find out that we hold the power. We just need to own it.
Wow, this sounds so simple.
It sounds simple. It is definitely overlooked. And we have not all figured this out yet. But once we do, it just makes such a huge difference.
Oh, I love that. Okay. How can leaders in male dominated industries cultivate an inclusive environment that fosters career advancement for women?
Oh my gosh. So we know the tech environment is definitely a bit more male dominated. So to help make it more inclusive, really, we need to speak up. We need to stop hiding behind or being the one in the meeting that just automatically takes the notes and gets the coffee. We need to own that power and say, you know what, we are equals here. And this is how it's going to be. We're going to work together. A good friend of mine was working with a leader at her company, and they would get into a meeting room, and the screen would have their team leadership uh, from different locations on the screen. And he would look at her and say, "You're going to take notes, right?" And so I taught her to say, "No, thank you." That, we can either both take notes or we can take turns taking notes, but I'm not your secretary. I'm your coworker. And sometimes we just have to take that power back and start building the confidence little by little and getting our voice into that room.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I was in situations before. Also, I worked in what you call corporate think before I started my own company as well, and I recognize these little differences as well in how to communicate. And I think for most of the women, it is like a little struggle, or maybe if they form the habit to say yes immediately, to take notes or bring the coffee or whatever you mentioned, then it is to break the habit, right? And to say no without being not afraid, being scared of the consequences, because what we fear, I think, is being fired, or because we are not a people pleaser anymore, right? When we step up. Mhm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's, sometimes I won't say the B word, but people are worried, well, they're going to think I'm the B word, or I'm a jerk, or I'm doing the wrong thing. But the reality is, if your boss is asking you to take the notes and you to get the coffee, but he's not asking your male counterpart to do the same thing, there's disparity and it needs to be resolved. There are tactical ways to do it, but as women, we're raised to be caretakers. We take care of the kids a little more. We do all these different things. We try to keep everybody happy. We want to be liked. But at the end of the day, we have to own our power in that corporate setting, or we will fall behind, especially when it comes to promotion time.
So I can share with you a secret of my life. It was, and I talked about that yesterday to someone, that it was the best moments when I said no to something in the business world, because then they came up with a different solution, which was so much better, a better
Right.
contract or a better offer, or yeah, whatever it is. Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that so resonates with me too. That's really what happened. So after being in that one role for 10 years, we went through a reorganization. So I was forced to put myself out there. And when I realized I was already doing more than the job ahead of me, I applied for that job. And when the offer came, bear in mind, I'd been doing the job for 10 years. I've got my annual increases. When the offer came with the quote promotion, it had a 4% pay increase. And that's when I said, no, thank you. I'm not going to do that anymore. And was very swiftly brought into a higher level leader's office to discuss why I was such a value. I should have been able to tell her that, but I didn't know at the time. So that's where I really took the lead and started saying, okay, we've got to teach women to speak up for themselves. We've got to understand our value. So when that promotion hits, instead of a no, thank you, feeling really confident with saying, here's why that offer is too low, and here is what I expect.
Yeah, that's so
Which,
true. So
yeah,
saying no, thank you is the first step. It's better than to agree to everything, right? The first step. And then I
right.
also love how you emphasize the importance of speaking up. You said speaking up for yourself, because nobody else will do this. So you have to own or recognize your own worth, your value first, and then you can promote it or advertise it. Yeah, you can sell yourself, so to say, how we say it in the business world, and I love that. So your recommendation is definitely for women to step up outside comfort zone, to take responsibility. And I think first comes the question, what do I really want? Because you have to know it first. Maybe they want to stay in that position to always bring the coffee or take notes. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's no shame in that. If that's what you want to do and
Mhm.
that's where you're happy and you find your fulfillment, there's no pressure to do anything different, right? We get to do whatever we choose. If your goal is to get promoted into that director or vice president role, you absolutely have to take your power and own it. You've got to start showing that confidence. You've got to your point, know exactly what you want and start making a path to get there, because nobody's building it for you.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I love that advice. So please, dear listeners, take this advice, step up, do one thing per day, which is really uncomfortable. I'm doing this because with this podcast already, it's like it's my way of speaking up, spreading the message and creating the space for other people like you leaders, authors, and experts all around the world, And you talked about goals and what is your goal, what is your purpose, and what would you say is one of your next goals? Do you set goals or intentions?
Mm. I set goals because goals have they're time bound. I use SMART goals just as I would for any other business goal. So to kind of differentiate that a little bit for your listeners, a goal is maybe just I want to go on vacation. I want to go on vacation. That's my goal. But a SMART goal is I want to go on vacation to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico in the month of January. And having that super time bound plan, because now I can clearly set actions. I need to book my airline by this date. I need to have my hotel booked by this date. I need to do, my packing and shopping and those things. The career goals are the same. You have to have a really smart career goal. I want to be promoted to director of marketing by the end of 2024. Now, I guess we're already kind of close to the end of 2024, so that may not be realistic. But what we can do then is back into the small steps that we need to take. So that means, okay, is my resume updated? Am I having conversations and being visible? Am I looking at job postings to see where maybe I need some additional development so that I'm not struggling at the last minute when that job posts to get everything done? My book is called Promotion Ready in 3 months. And the reason for the 3 months is because it takes time. You can't plant a seed today and have a tomato tomorrow. Same with your career. You can't start doing one thing today and expect it to be perfect tomorrow. You need time to start implementing new strategies and showing up differently. So, SMART goals are absolutely number one.
Wow, I love that. And you talked about showing up differently and also to show up at all. So show up for yourself every day on a daily basis. And there were so many nuggets in what you just shared. I cannot repeat this all, but you talked about the end of the year. And this is also true. We are heading towards the end of the year. So you can plan, or you listener, plan your promotion within 90 days, you said, within 3 months with Tabatha. She's amazing. And then when we talk in terms of years, why not take more time till the end of 2025, of course? And when you talked about Mexico, indeed, it's I formed the goal yesterday. I had the intent or the intention or the intuition to go to Mexico in 2025 in December. And this, so I take this from you now to design my goal, to set the date, and to shape my life around that. And how about your goal as a lifestyle? So every decision we make based on the goal, is it serving my goal? Also, I love that so much. So I have to re-listen to this episode again, because there were so many nuggets and instructions, so to say, we can follow to set really goals that brings us to the goal, to our promotion, if this is our goal, or to Mexico. I don't know.
Exactly. And using your calendar. So, you're making your plan. We're going to continue to use the vacation example. So your plan is to go to Mexico. Let's say it's December 12th of 2025. Great. Every month on your calendar, you can set deliverables and hold yourself accountable. The same applies to your career goals. Every month, if you know you're shooting for a promotion in December of 2025, when are you going to update your resume? When are you going to have a conversation with your leader? When are you going to have a conversation with other hiring managers? One of the key strategies with promotion readiness is making sure that people outside of your immediate team know who you are. Often, someone will get bypassed for a promotion, and it's because no one outside of their team know what they can do. And that can lead to some tears and some extreme emotions, because this person has worked so hard. She's done everything she could in her power that she knows of. But unfortunately, she hasn't established herself as a leader and hasn't built her brand with people outside of her immediate team. So those are things that you can plug into your calendar as you're working toward that big goal.
Yes, so it has to do with networking and also to become visible outside of your team. So to say that everyone knows
so
what you are
much.
capable of, your gifts and talents, I love
Yep.
that so much. Yeah, it's so clear. But when you see this, chances are going by, or you are bypassed, or whatever the word was left out. So to say, the feeling it hurts, and then maybe
Yeah.
you need months of recovery to get over it if you are not in the right mindset and if you don't have a coach. So you help people to reach that goal, of course, through your books, through your book. And do you have a program, or when people reach out to you now after listening to this episode, do you have special offers or services?
I do. I have a
Mhm.
variety of coaching programs. I have a group program that is very geared toward promotion readiness in 3 months. I have a one-on-one program that's more customized, generally for women who are either on a job search. Often I find women kind of in this midlife space are on a job search suddenly and everything has changed. So I'll coach them through that. And then one on one coaching for leadership and career growth as well. So, absolutely, my recommendation is book a call, connect with me on LinkedIn, because we can talk through what your needs are and then what is going to best fit that.
That's amazing. Yes, I also prefer LinkedIn as my platform, to be the place to be, to
Exactly.
connect with people as well, and we are connected. And my I think my last question is about your coaches and mentors. How about that? Do you have coaches and mentors for yourself? And who was the best coach you ever had?
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I'm going to go with that question first. So I would say the best coach was a coach slash mentor, and it was in my corporate space. It was a gentleman named Steve, who was the first person who ever silenced another leader to bring my voice into the room. And that moment was so powerful and impactful that when I left my corporate job, I sent him a note. I said, I don't know if you knew this, but this is the one thing that you did that literally changed my life. It built my confidence, it changed how I showed up, and it changed how I led people. I'm super extroverted. I can talk over anybody all day long, but I've learned how to, because of him, pull back and bring other voices in. So I was under his leadership a couple levels down for many years of my career. So I was always his stalker. He was somebody I knew I could ask if I had a question. He was someone that I kept an eye on because whatever he was doing, it felt like the right thing from a leadership perspective. From a coaching angle, I've had multiple coaches through my business, definitely learning how to build a business or how to get more visible as an entrepreneur because I knew how to do it as a corporate person. I didn't know as much on an entrepreneur from an entrepreneurial perspective. I feel that it is always important to have coaches in your life, somebody who's been there before you, who's a couple of steps ahead of you, who can help you get there faster, really smooth out that path, save you from making the mistakes or wasting the time because what I've learned is no matter what, time is not standing still. So you need to be moving with it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your answer. And yeah, not only the mentor saves you time, also about accountability. Maybe there's someone you can turn to, ask your questions. I don't know. It helps. I think it helps.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you so
absolutely.
much for sharing. Mhm.
Yeah, I was going to add the accountability is excellent. All of my programs, that's the biggest piece is the accountability. Because if you say you're going to do something, it's a lot easier to break your promise to yourself and deprioritize it. But when you know your coach is going to be asking you about that in 5 days, you definitely are moving fast and making sure that you hit those targets and deadlines so that you're achieving your goals faster.
Oh, so true. Yes, thank you so much. And now it's time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
Oh my gosh. Well, my final thoughts are really that you need to not give anyone else control of your career path and your career progression. You need to be in the driver's seat. You need to be the one making decisions. And if you are struggling with that, if you don't know exactly how to do that, just reach out. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. We can book a call. And I hope you've gotten what you need today so that you can start feeling that confidence and building that momentum.
I love that. There's nothing to add. Thank you so much. I'm impressed.
Well,
Yes.
thank you, Caroline. This was wonderful.
And see you in the next episode.